little bit, but not really. No, we're really thinking about the Southern Miss game. Obviously, their coach has already said he expects to beat us here, so they got a good team, and they're going to be ready to play. We'll be ready to play. But part of the reason is to practice in the mornings, which a lot of teams are doing also, is to avoid the late afternoon thunderstorms, although we've only had the one rainy day this past week. And really, I told the guys the other day, the nighttime practices, the weather's been pretty nice, really. It hasn't been severely muggy at all. It seems like there's some air that flows over here on our practice field. So we may mix it up morning and nights.
And then just as a follow-up, after the bowl game last year, I remember you talking about doing things a little differently, preparation-wise. Were you talking about bowl games specifically, or even things you've changed this summer?
A little bit of doing things differently. Yeah, just a little bit. Not that was any reason we got our tails beat, but just little things like our players don't need to sign autographs all week before a game, things like that. And the fans may say, well, you're being a little mean to us, but they don't do that during the regular season. The bowl week is, of course, a lot different. There's no classes, you got them all day, and this, that, and the other. But that really didn't have anything to do with it. It's just the idea that maybe our team can't handle signing autographs all day. I noticed, I saw an article down at the University of Florida, they got security for the players walking. They have about the same kind of walk we have to their practice field. They got security all the way so people don't mob them for autographs. They got people wanting their players to sign all kind of stuff. So it's just a little bit of a distraction, and but you got to handle those things. That's no big deal. But just a little bit of keeping our guys. They don't need to be making speeches to groups and this, that, and the other so much. They need to just concentrate on playing the game. Let's play the game, and then when the season's over, when all the games are over, then we'll do all that kind of stuff.
Coach, I know you haven't played a game yet. Can you already tell a big difference in having a team with so many mature players as opposed to having the younger teams that you've had since you've been to South Carolina?
Well, I can say everybody's on time now. The guys come on time. I think Victor Hampton's the only guy that was late for a meeting, and he had a pretty good reason. We'd been meeting at 3:30 in the afternoon, and we tried to tell everybody the next day was at 3, and he just forgot. So 1 out of 90, or 1 out of 105 is not too bad. So he did a little extra running. So yeah, the guys are on time. They all go to breakfast. We have mandatory breakfast, lunch, and so forth. So in the old days we'd have 4 or 5 miss breakfast, 4 or 5 miss. And our strength coach back then, he'd put them on Stairmaster, and then they'd have so many they could never do it. We just had a heck of a mess. So now Coach Fitz runs them. He takes care of it. It seems to be working better this way for whatever reason. But our guys are more accountable. That's the thing. We all got to be accountable to each other, as you know. Coaches, players, trainers, equipment guys, everybody. And they seem to have accepted some accountability and responsibility a lot better than maybe years past. But whether or not that'll help us win, we got to find out. We don't know yet.
Steve, I guess you were probably consulted on this, but what was your thinking in not having Garcia anywhere on the cover of this year's version of your award-winning media guide?
I think we had mostly all the seniors on there. He's just a junior right now.
You got Jeffrey on there, Gilmore.
Alshon's on there? Oh, okay. Well, those guys made all conference or all something or another. And maybe we thought Steven didn't belong on there. How's that? When he earns the right to get on there, we'll put him on there. Okay?
Coach, what kind of role is Pat DeMarco going to have in the offense this game?
Patrick's been playing fullback and tight end, and sometimes we got those guys on the line, sometimes in the backfield a little bit. So he's a combination tight end, fullback.
Coach over here.
Coach, what has impressed you about DJ Swearinger this fall, and what do you think of his chances are of starting?
Well, DJ is one of the starters right now, and he not only starting on defense, but he's a very good special team player. Good hitter, good tackler, and he's done well. He and Marcus had a couple of collisions. the first one, Marcus, he sort of caught him off balance and just sort of gave him a nice little forearm. It wasn't that hard to hit. Marcus was sort of pulling it up. But then last night, Marcus really didn't know it was DJ. He came around, he was just heading for the goal line. He saw a white shirt and ran over it. And DJ, we weren't really going at with those kind of hits last night. But those two guys were fine later. He said, he gave me a good hit, coach. I just wasn't ready for it. I said, I know, and he wasn't ready for the one you gave him. So you guys are even now, we forget about it. But DJ's a very, very good, tough player.
Coach Spurrier, Coach Spurrier back here, I know you wanted to talk strictly about the Gamecocks, but I'd like to ask you one question about the conference. Would you agree with a couple centerpiece quarterbacks and a couple coaching changes that the conference this year might be a conference that's a little bit in transition?
Well, there's not as many returning quarterbacks, yeah, that's for sure. But other than that, I think all the schools, all that we play, I know they've still been recruiting, you know. Georgia, Florida, Tennessee, Alabama, Auburn, they've all been recruiting the last 3 or 4 years. So everybody's got ball players. Now the quarterbacks is the only different area probably as far as the talent or whatever. Just a lot of new quarterbacks on teams to me is about the biggest different thing.
And the coaching changes, you know, there are several coaches with Vandy, Kentucky, Tennessee.
Yeah, I don't know how much a difference that will make till we start playing.
Coach, every week it seems during the off season we see, you know, Georgia, Tennessee, all these SEC programs, different college programs with discipline problems, people being arrested. What does it say about your group of guys that they stay out of trouble in this off season? You haven't had that phone call that you didn't want.
Well, that's a credit to our guys really, and probably our strength coach, and really the players having a sense of accountability to each other. I think that's the biggest thing. So that they're really just acting like they should. You know, I don't really think you should praise the guys for not getting arrested. You got to get rid of those guys that do, and yeah, you know, if you got to get rid of them to send the message, that's what you have to do. And so anyway, but every coach handles those situations a little differently.
Coach, how's Rodney Paul coming along, especially for a guy who's missed so much time over the past few years?
Rodney's doing fine. He's doing fine. He's you know, had that knee surgery, but he's 100%. He's out there. Yeah, he should be ready to start this year. He's doing fine in there. He and Shaq probably are 2 inside backers right now, I believe.
Is he a guy that you can use as an example of how you can overcome adversity and not let all the bad times get you down?
Well, a lot of guys have had injuries, and he just happened to have his first game of the season last year. He's got a wonderful attitude. Quentin Richardson's got a wonderful attitude. He tore his pec muscle, had surgery. He's the happiest guy out there right now. He's out there laughing and giggling all day in practice, so he's doing fine. I don't know why, but he's a happy Gamecock right now. I don't know. You'll have to ask him why he's so happy, but he's the happiest guy on the team here last week or so.
I know you don't won the first game, but you guys also had played pretty well at home last year, going 6-1. The fact that you have your first 3 games at home, just sort of a sense of
Hopefully.
among the players that you have a good start this year.
Well, hopefully, first 4 out of 5, I guess, are at home. Yeah, hopefully. And of course, I think 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 2 of them are Georgia and Alabama coming in. So 3 of them are Alabama, Auburn, and Georgia through the first 5, I think. So hopefully the home, yeah, we've played better here at home than we have away last year. Sometimes in prior years it was about even one way or the other. But yeah, I think our guys are starting to feel good at home. I know the student section, our fans, the crowd is excellent, wonderful noise and all that. So, and we expect that again. And again, we expect to go out there and earn the crowd to be loud and the stadium full. And we got to go earn that right now. We haven't sold out that first game, as you know, which is fair. That's fair. We looked pretty lousy last time out, and that's why. if we had a big bowl game, it'd be sold out. Everybody'd be all pumped up right now. You know, Joe? No, we didn't, so we are where we are.
Steve, you talk about improved leadership the last couple of years, more accountability out of these guys, taking it on themselves. Did you think did you think it would take this long to get to that point? Or did you think that things would happen so quick?
Yeah, it all comes down to, we got some excellent coaches here. We got all different coaches in the first year except for Steve Jr. And wide receivers certainly hadn't been our problem around here. With Sidney Rice and Kenny and Alshon on Torrey and a lot of guys that played about that position. But we've made a lot of mistakes in recruiting. We've made a lot. We all have. A lot of positions we thought these guys would develop and become players. They didn't do it. And so we're believing that we've not made as many mistakes lately. And we do have a lot of 4th and 5th year players this year. Not 5th year, I'm sorry. I think we have 3 5th year players. We have Terrence Campbell. I was asking him today. Who else? Rodney, yeah. Lanning's a 5th year? Well, I don't know if he is or not. But, so we still have a lot of 5th year guys. But that's probably a little bit common, but not as much. And Hutch Eckerson, he was the other one. Thank you, Scott. I'm glad one of you writers are keeping up with our team. Yeah, 3 5th year guys, I think. But we do have a lot more 4th year guys. And I really believe the last 2 classes, most all those guys are still here and are going to become good players for us.